Well, here I am today. It's 11th of June. A few days later, I'm in the park, beautiful day, and I live to tell the tale about 11 grams of magic mushrooms being swallowed down in my stomach. I don't even know where I would start, but there is one thing for certain that I want to make it clear right on the way. The experience that I had was pretty intense. Intense, that's for sure. And I do not suggest to anybody who doesn't have any experiences with eating magic mushrooms or doing some other psychedelic things. If you didn't have an experience with the high doses, I suggest you go step by step, because if I didn't do so, I would go insane probably or something, because nothing could have prepared me for what I experienced that day. And I had an experiences that are similar, but this one was pretty stronger. So one thing I'm pretty certain, is that we're living some kind of simulation reality game, life, and this thing is not real. I mean, it is, don't get me wrong, it feels real, you can touch this thing and it's real, and you feel real emotions, you do real things, but how do you define real? What is real? How do you define normal? I have my expectations of normal, I have my point of view on normal, but that guy over there, a grandpa with his children, he's normal, his way of perceiving normal is probably quite different than mine, and my preservance of normal, I don't even know if I'm using the right words, the English is not my native language, I'm sorry. But my point of view of normal is probably unnormal to him. And he would think that I'm crazy. But anyway, as I ate these mushrooms, it kicked me pretty fast. In 40 minutes I was like, what's happening, and all this stuff. But then I lost a track of time. I don't know how much time did pass. And there was this breakthrough moment. I'll jump right into it. I was sitting on the balcony, my attic, and I could see the code with my own eyes. I could see some strange letters and numbers floating around everywhere, and there was a huge pressure on my brain. It's something I never felt before. It's like somebody just took my brain and squeeze it, and then squeeze it some little more. It was kind of painful and intense, but I realized in order to reach this breakthrough, I must hold on through this unpleasant experience. But in that moment, everything starts working against you, because this reality simulation will do everything that's in its power, and it's really powerful, to make you not see the breakthrough thing. First, what it tried to do, as I was sitting on the balcony and breakthrough was right here, I could just almost touch it. Some guys showed up, 3 of them. They walked inside my garden, and I didn't lock the door, so I must stand up and go see what they want. Why did they came in that particular moment? Because the Matrix knows, the reality knows what you're doing and what you're thinking, and it always knows what's the best thing that it can do to fuck you up, to cause the negative emotion, and then it feeds on it. And it makes you create some more, because you start spinning in this negativity. So these guys came inside, and I stood up Like while the water was coming down from my mouth, I was completely blown out. And I went down, I see what they wanted. I said goodbye to them, and then I returned to the attic, and I started focusing on that breakthrough thing again. But this time I locked the door, so it could not bother me with other people, but then it started bothering me with my own body. Yes, your body is not your damn body. You are just driving it. It's like a vehicle, a biorobot, third-dimensional vehicle for this third-dimensional simulated reality. And your brain is a receiver of your consciousness. Your consciousness does not come from your brain. Because when you are unconscious, you're not here. You're not in this body. So you're not the body when you are unconscious. You are consciousness. When you are conscious, you are consciousness and not the body. And then it started using my body against me. As I was focusing, and like my body is in shock. Like my fingers are like this, and it's so tight. And like my brain is in so much pressure. And then I started puking. I was holding on to it. I did not puke in the end, but it tried to make me do it. And it started sabotaging me with my thoughts. Like, you made a mistake, you should not have done this here, you should have done it in your village on some field, now everything is gonna bother you, you're not gonna succeed, and all these things. But I know, because of some previous experiences when I was doing 8 grams, I was in shock that time. But I realized that my thoughts are not my own thoughts, because if I choose my thoughts, I would only choose the good thoughts. I will always be happy with my thoughts, but I'm not, and neither are you, and no one is. And there is always some thoughts that you don't want to think about, but hey, guess what? They're there. And so if your thoughts are yours, and if you choose your thoughts, why do you choose the bad thoughts? And if you don't choose the bad thoughts, then who does? I think the thoughts are the programs inside this simulated reality game. And they already exist. They already exist as a program inside. Like when you're playing RPG game and you have a freedom of choice to some extent. And you play your character and you start talking with some NPC. And then you got some 4 answers that you can pick. Will you go this way? Will you say that? Or will you do that? Sure, you will choose one of 4. But you did not make none of those. They are already predetermined to happen in the game, in that point of the game that you are experiencing at that current moment. You just choose one of the 4 options that already exists in the game. And the same thing is when you're with your thoughts. They are already here, the part of this construct. They are not yours. They're just floating around and you're somehow tapping inside of it. Inside of them. And so it started sabotaging me with my own thoughts, but I ignored it with so much intensity and trying and English language. And in the end I did it. I ignored all this stuff and I made my breakthrough, and it felt like I'm dying, like I'm dead, and like I was so close to actually die. At least that's how I felt. But then I heard this voice telling me, it's not your time yet. Here, this is how it looks. But it's not your time yet. Call that thought.